I cut off. Keep going.
Looking under height structure, there turned up nothing. Anthroponymy was not quite right. Then I realized the word I was looking for: giant. Giant described him. Giant. I knew would lead me to countless things, not just the word located in the index and catalogs and encyclopedias, but the idea of giant, the knowledge that people that James would want to read about, people who would be described out like him, when there were not just tall but giant. I sat in a spindleback chair in the reference room, waiting for a minute. Then I clicked the volume of the Library of Congress heading.
Okay. Okay. So the next page that you'll see is the embedded comprehension questions. So there's it's broken down into parts, and then there's a question for each part that you have to answer. So the directions are: read the following passage. When you come to the word stop in the text, respond to the question that follows. Okay, so the same passage, just broken down. I'll read the question to you if you want to go back and reread it on your own. And then when you're done with the question, I'll move on to the second question. You can go back and reread it, find the answer the question, and then we'll do that until we are done, okay?
Okay.
All right. So the first question is, who is the narrator of the story? The second question is, why do you believe James wanted books about tall people? Ready for three? Okay. Say, why was the narrator persistent in finding the books James requests? Okay, and last question. Why did the narrator believe the giant best described James? All right, our last part is our comprehension questions. And I'm gonna ask you the questions and you're gonna say them orally to me and I'll take some notes.
Okay.
Okay? All right. All right, after you read the passage, answer the following questions. That's our directions. Remember, we always read the directions? Because it might say not to do it. And
Yeah.
Okay. So who's the narrator of the story?
The narrator of the story is the librarian.
All right. Why did the narrator state that James' height had become unwieldy?
Because he was like so tall and he wanted to know more about people like him.
Okay. Number 3. What did James mean when he said, "I want books about people like me"?
He meant that he wanted to read about taller people, not just like average people.
Okay. Why did the librarian advise James to look in the card catalog even though she knew James probably had already tried to use the catalog?
Because the librarian felt that librarians should have the people look for their book instead of having the librarian look for the book.
Number 5. When James could not find what he was looking for, what did the librarian do?
The librarian stayed after dark to find the book that he was looking for. Excuse me.
You're fine. Are you getting sick?
No.
Okay.
It's probably just allergies.
You have allergies? Me too. Stayed after dark to find the book, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, number 6. What words did the librarian use when looking for information for James? Height, stature, or giant? You can look back in the passage.
Because at first she decided to use some words, but then she looked under height and structure, but then she decided to look under giant.
Okay. This is structure is different. This is a stature.
Stature.
Yeah, stature is the height. It's another word for height. Okay. Okay. And number 7, what word best describes James? Or what word best describes James? A, tall, B, giant, C, skinny.
B, giant.
Number 8, where did the librarian begin her search for information on tall people? A, reference section, B, card catalog, C, books on people. I realized I hadn't given you the choices.
A, reference section.
A, reference section, okay. How would you describe the librarian?
I would describe her as determined because I'm guessing weren't a lot of people that she would do this for, but even though she couldn't find the book and he couldn't find the book, she stayed up to find the book.
Okay. All right, we're done. Yay.